on Global TV News Express. Tinubu appoints new Comptroller General of the Federal Service in Business. House of Representatives query Marine Ministry, National Inland Waterways Authority over port abandonment. And on the foreign scene, Russia to extend electronic visa validity period to 120 days starting August 23. In sports, Nigeria seals International Table Tennis Federation World Youth Championship sport. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder, the Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has appointed the Deputy Comptroller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olumode Samuel Adeyemi, as the new substantive Comptroller General of the service. The appointment was announced in a statement by the Secretary of the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board, retired Major General Abdulmalik Jibril, on behalf of President Tinubu. The appointment of the new Comptroller General is effective from August 14, 2025. Moving on, Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin has called on Nigerian youth to shift from mere complaints to concrete action for national development. The Speaker made the call at the official unveiling of the Take Action campaign in Abuja, an initiative of the Youth in Parliament Forum themed Awakening a Generation. Our National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, who was represented by the Chairman of the House Committee on Youth in Parliament, Olami Julowo Alao Akala, stressed the need for young people to live in the present and drive Nigeria's transformation through meaningful participation in politics and policy making. He emphasized the importance of reforming outdated laws, supporting youth-inclusive policies like Not Too Young to Run, and backing the proposed bill for reserved seats for women in parliament.
So painful. I keep telling people that Nigeria of today, if we do not take action, nothing is going to happen. Everything is going to remain the way it is. It's going to be garbage in, garbage out. And if we are here and we keep saying that we're over 60% of our population, 70% of our population, and yet there's no change, and the change we want, we cannot articulate it, we cannot put it into proper. So what are we doing? We need to come together, and that's why we need to take action.
Described the Take Action campaign as a strategic grassroots effort to combat youth underrepresentation. He said the movement aims to mentor aspiring youth candidates and mobilize voters ahead of the 2027 general elections.
The statistics before us are alarming. Despite comprising over 60% of Nigeria's population, young people remain grossly underrepresented in legislative and governance spaces. Take Action campaign is our answer to that imbalance. It is our organized, strategic, and grassroots-powered response.
Other stakeholders at the event pledged to support the campaign and assured continued collaboration with the Youth in Parliament Forum to enhance grassroots engagement and amplify the voices of young Nigerians nationwide. Anita Patrick, Global Television News.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has raised alarm over the poor implementation of anti-corruption and transparency units in government institutions. At an oversight session with the House Committee on Anti-Corruption, the Commission Chairman, Aliyu Musa, represented by the Director of System and Study and Review, Olusegun Adigun, made the call for urgent reforms and funding. National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick has more.
According to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission Chairman, out of over 400 ministries, departments and agencies, Only 26 anti-corruption and transparency units are considered very effective. 58 are rated effective, while 127 are labeled ineffective and 5 are dormant. Most worrying, 92 MDAs are yet to establish the units at all.
We realize that in the compliance rating, we have 6 categories. We have the full compliance, that is MDAs that score 95% and above, and then we have substantial compliance, partial compliance, poor compliance, non-compliance, and non-responsive. But over time, we realize that some MDAs will fall into substantial compliance, while the NDA is not effective. So this year going forward, ATU is now a standalone key performance indicator.
House Speaker Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, represented by Honorable Umar Ajilo, stressed that corruption weakens institutions and hinders national growth.
This public hearings aims to assess the functionalities and effectiveness of the anti-corruption and transparency unit across all areas to identify their challenges and explore viable strategies for addressing the challenge.
Chairman of the committee, Honorable Kayode Akilo, acknowledged the anti-corruption and transparency units framework is cost-effective, but warned that some units have underperformed or become compromised.
While we recognize the challenges posed by the nature of corruption, we must also confront the reality that not all actions taken in the name of anti-corruption have been entirely above board. It is paramount that we investigate and assess whether these units are truly fulfilling their mandate or if they have reverted to the goal achieved in very practices that they were created to eradicate.
The committee says it will intensify efforts to ensure anti-corruption and transparency units are functional across all MDAs as part of broader war against corruption in public service. Annie T. Patrick, Global Television News.
To commemorate with the Benue community, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, has donated the sum of 1 million naira to victims of the recent Yelwata attack in Benue State. Benue State correspondent Felicity Indere reports that during the condolence visit to the state, wife of the president, Senator Tinubu, described the killings as tragic and entirely unnecessary.
About 6 weeks ago, the Yelwata community in Guma local government area of Benue State suffered a deadly attack that left hundreds dead and thousands displaced. Today, the Nigerian's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, visits the state to commiserate with the victims. Her visit converged at the new banquet hall of the government house in Makurdi, where she met with key stakeholders and announces a 1 billion donation on behalf of the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Nigeria is blessed for a reason, and having diverse ethnicity, religion, culture is meant for a reason. We will say Nigeria is more like a mini America, that you have different people coming for the growth of that land. I believe that diversity is supposed to help us to grow as a people, not to destroy us. So for me, hope is not lost. We've heard you, and I believe my sister, the First Lady of Nasarawa State, has heard as well. And we will take the message back home. And we pray, and we know that our security chiefs, they are doing their best. And maybe for me coming here is for them to hear again, for the nation to hear again.
In his welcome address, Governor Hyacinth Alia, while appreciating the visit and show of empathy by the First Lady, renewed his call for the establishment of the state police to better address security challenges.
Decentralized, locally rooted policing structure will greatly enhance intelligence gathering, swift response, and accountability. It is time for us as a nation to embrace state police as a practical and necessary step towards securing lives property, and peace across the nation.
Also speaking, the chairman of the Benue State Council of Chiefs and Dotiv, His Royal Majesty, Professor James Ayate, called for the immediate flushing out of terrorist elements from Benue and neighboring Nasarawa states.
Most of our attacks take place in the communities that are close to or share boundaries with Nasarawa State. Yet Nasarawa State is not under the same stage of attacks. The Nasarawa State governor himself has publicly raised alarm on the influx of terrorists into his state and his helplessness in dealing with the situation as the chief security officer of the state.
He also called on the federal government to provide adequate compensation to the victims, enabling them to rebuild their lives and safely return to their ancestral homes. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global TV News.
Director General of the Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, says Nigeria must embrace safe and ethical technological innovations to tackle food insecurity and climate challenges in the country. The Director General made this known at a sensitization workshop on genetically modified organisms, GMOs, for members of Nigeria's Islamic community. Anita Patrick has the details.
According to the Director General, National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa says the workshop aims to bridge the knowledge gap between modern biotechnology and religious understanding, thereby enabling informed perspectives that support national agricultural development goals. According to him, with Islamic teachings emphasizing food safety and wholesomeness, it is essential that any biotechnological advancement aligns with Sharia principles of health, dignity, and well-being.
And let the people know that this crop has no harm. Let the people know that this crop is something that when they use is going to bring a lot of fortune in terms of mitigating the problems of climate change, in terms of bringing wealth, creating wealth, because when you use it, you are going to harvest high yield.
Meanwhile, the Director Agric Biotech Department, NAPDA, Dr. Rose Gidado, says the goal of agricultural biotechnology is to increase crop yields, improve food quality, and reduce the environmental impact of farming, ultimately contributing to global food security and sustainable agriculture.
Productivity and health through genetic improvement, disease diagnosis and then prevention, nutrition and then feeding strategies, and then improve farming practices such as precision agri, soil conservation, and then efficient water use. So the goal of agricultural biotech is to increase crop yields, improve food quality, and then reduce the environmental impact of farming, ultimately contributing to global food security and sustainable agriculture.
Speaking on behalf of the Muslim community, the Secretary to the Chief Imam of the community, Abdullahi Nuhu, commended the government agency for the capacity building and the work put in tackling food insecurity in the country.
We will at all points in time support you spiritually.
The high-level engagement brought together religious leaders, scientists, regulators, and civil society groups in a bid to bridge science and faith. Anita Patrick, Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Nigeria seals International Table Tennis Federation World Youth Championship Sports. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is News Express coming to you on Global Television. Now go to the business news. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Rehabilitation and Operationalization of Barrow Island Port has raised serious concerns over the non-functional and multi-billion naira Barrow Island port in Niger State years after it was commissioned. The chairman of the committee, Saidu Abdullahi, who expressed the concern on behalf of the House, said the committee has summoned the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, and the Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Bola Oyebamji, over the issue. Aniete Patrick reports.
Commissioned with much fanfare, the Barrow Inland Port was expected to boost trade, decongest road transport and improve connectivity across the country. Ad hoc Committee on Rehabilitation and Operationalization of Barrow Inland Port, chaired by Honorable Saidu Abdullahi, demand answers about the Barrow Inland Port in Niger State, a project initially celebrated as a game changer for Nigeria's inland waterway transportation system.
We're directing all the MDs that will be invited to cause appearance once they receive our date, which will explicitly state the date and time of the engagement. Yes, it's actually mandatory because we're taking this assignment very seriously. We'll make ourselves readily available to.
Lawmakers described the situation as unacceptable. They queried that despite the completion of physical infrastructure, the port has not been put to use, citing poor access roads and vandalism as major setbacks.
So my submission, Mr. Chairman and respected colleagues, that the agency have to appear and the accounting officers have to appear. That shows they respect Parliament. And also, the Minister of Transport is our brother, colleague, who was in the Senate. So we expect better collaboration and understanding.
Representing the National Inland Waterways Authority boss, Abahe Fidelis blames the delay on infrastructural gaps and security challenges.
So unlocking Barrow Port will demand a federal approach. It will demand ensuring streamlined implementation and efficient operationalization. NIWA as an agency is prepared to guide all of us in this phase, ensuring that the port will boost economic growth and national prosperity.
The committee has given both the ministry and NIWA a 7-day ultimatum to submit documents on the port's construction, funding, and operational status. The lawmakers say they will conduct a follow-up inspection at Barrow Port to verify the claims and ensure accountability. Aniete Patrick, Global Television News.
The push for renewable energy in Nigeria faces serious challenges. The Chief Regulator and Efficiency Officer of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, Engineer Emmanuel Uche, says financing and lack of reliable data are slowing down the integration of solar and wind power into the national grid. He made this known at a recent energy dialogue in Abuja with a theme, Preempting Resilience for Accelerated Renewable Energy Scaling. Our correspondent Ubongo Soro reports.
The 2023 UN Environment Programme report warns that fossil fuel drives 75% of global warming, and it urges countries like Nigeria to pivot to renewables. Speaking at the event, the Chief Regulator and Efficiency Officer of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, Engineer Emmanuel Uche, raised concerns over Nigeria's slow energy transition. He says despite having vast gas reserves and hydropower potential, Nigeria still generates 80% of its electricity from gas, and yet millions remain without power. He noted that Nigeria must prioritize grid-connected renewable energy.
I view as to how to strategically harness the resources around you. So if you are a state like Plateau, where the wind speed is quite significant, if you're developing your resource plan, you already know that the renewable option you should leverage on significantly is wind.
Sure.
And what that will now do is that it will help the other institutions in the state, i.e. Ministry of Planning, Ministry of Budget, Finance and Co., to strategically begin to engage perhaps OEMs out of our clients, where they can now come up with viable collaborative agreements that can enable the developer
Commissioner Research and Strategy, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, says challenges persist, including poor grid infrastructure, funding gaps, and lack of technical expertise.
New generation, you have to put all the bells and whistles of partial guarantees and so on and so forth. If the market worked organically, you don't have to find any enhancement. Because the person that's coming to invest will do a survey of the market conditions. He will determine what is the risk premium he wants to put on his investment, and he will earn it. So I am a bit skeptical because subsidies, Nigeria is not very, very wealthy, right? Let's be honest. People say, oh, Nigeria is a rich country with so much oil, you know, whatever. I think Nigeria is like the 8th largest oil producer in the world, but out of the top 8, probably have like the largest population by a mile.
As Nigeria races to meet its clean energy targets, experts agree that without solid data and investment, the transition will be slow and uncertain. Ubon Osoro for Global TV.
The Senate Committee on Public Accounts has granted 3 weeks to the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, for a comprehensive report on the 210 trillion naira allegedly misappropriated from 2017 to 2023. This followed a plea made by the NNPCL GCEO before the committee in order to enable him look into the said financial detailed report. Topsy Gimba has details.
The Chairman Senate Committee on Public Accounts, Senator Ali Wadada Nasarawa West, says the investigation stemmed out from the discovery made by the Committee on the Financial Audited Report of NNPCL to the tune of 210 trillion naira from 2017 to 2023.
It's 107. If you put them together, the two will give you 210 trillion. Under normal accounting, it's assets minus liabilities. But in this case, the liability figure or the figure of the liabilities haven't been substantiated to the committee. So that means it is not acceptable by the committee. So 103 trillion on the liability side is not acceptable to the committee because it has not been substantiated.
The Group Chief Executive Officer NNPCL, Engineer Bayo Ojulari, pleaded with the members of the committee to consider and give him additional time to look into the report following the fact that he was new in the system.
Some time to quick look into this specific perspective that you have given. Personally, I need to understand that the GCEO, I need to understand these issues myself so that I can ensure appropriate representation whenever we have to appear before you. I will also make a plea, Mr. Chairman, sir. The technicalities of these details, if you could permit me to ensure that at least I have a crack team of about 3 to 4 people specifically to dig into these questions. I was asking my CFO if he has a copy, because I don't think, no matter how much we try, that we can give you satisfactory response.
After wider consultation among themselves, the members of the committee granted 3 weeks to the Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Engineer Bayo Ojulari. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
A ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia has been mainly holding as border tensions linger, with a truce agreement to end deadly clashes in effect, in part due to economic pressures from United States President Donald Trump. The two neighbors agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, effective from midnight, at a meeting in Malaysia after nearly a week of hostilities that saw at least 38 mostly civilians dead and displaced nearly 300,000 more. The ceasefire comes days before the United States is expected to announce new trade tariff decisions. Cambodia and Thailand are two of the nations likely to be hit hardest as a result of Trump's punitive trade measures, with a 36% tariff on goods from both countries taking effect this coming Friday. And now we go to the sports news, where Nigeria have earned qualifications for the 2025 International Table Tennis Federation World Youth Championship in Romania after winning the boys under-19 team event at the ongoing African Youth Championship in Lagos. competing at the Molade Okoye Thomas Hall Teslim Balogun Stadium. The Nigerian team recovered from a 0-2 deficit in the semi-finals to edge Egypt 3-2 before defeating Tunisia by the same scoreline in the final. Despite Tunisia's Wassim Ersid defeating both Mathieu Kuti and Abdul Basit Abdul Fattah, Nigeria won the title after Abdul Fattah beat Mohamed Kalofi 3-0 in the decider. The win confirmed Nigeria's return to the Continental Summit after missing out in 2024. Egypt and Algeria settled for bronze. And still in sport, Bayern Munich has completed the signing of forward Luis Diaz from the Premier League champions Liverpool for a reported fee that could rise to €75 million. The Colombian winger, who won the Premier League FA Cup and 2 Leagues Cup during his time at Anfield, has signed a contract with the Bundesliga champions until 2029. The fee paid for Diaz is the third highest in Bayern's history. And as Global TV News Express comes to an end, let's take a recap of our top stories. We told you in business that is it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, now showing on your screen using the handle at Global TVNG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you for watching.